I just got back from watching Barbie, and that is 2 hours of my life I will never get back. Word of warning, this review of Barbie does contain heavy spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I recommend that you skip away from this video and go and watch something else. My name's Rachel and welcome to Chat About It. Don't chat about it. Remember to leave your comments below of what you actually thought of Barbie itself, and remember, chat, don't shout. Let's begin. This is how I would describe Barbie, the new movie. A feministic power trip that really just aims to shove feminism down your throat and expect you to be okay with it. Okay, so let's start with what I actually did like about the film, because there are actually points that I really do like about this film. So the film starts off in Barbie Land. So that's where all the Barbies and all the Kens are, and it's basically where everything that happens to them is what is happening in the child's imagination. It's the portal to that world. There's dancing, there's singing, there is the fake, high heel Barbie feet. There's the weird Barbie, which is played by Kate McKinnon, and that's a very suitable role for Kate McKinnon because she likes weird, quirky characters. And Barbie's driving a car, she's having a dance routine at her house. I liked all of that. It was fun and it was silly and it was messing around. The Barbies, of course, naturally run Barbie Land. Of course they do. They have a Madam President. They have prizes that for writing books, and it's all presented to Barbie because Barbie is the best. She is everything, and she is anything that she wants to be, and it's the whole point of Barbie. So the animation, the thought process behind all of that, the pinkness and everything, the quirkiness of all of that is really well imagined. I really liked those aspects of it. I do like the important messages that the film has, so I've written down here, find yourself, work out who you are. That is one of the most important messages that's in the film. Barbie was a representation of strong women when she came about, and Ken is trying to desperately find himself and work himself out, and because he was just Ken, and Barbie was just like, you can be who you are, you just need to find out who you are. There was also a message about the new Barbie being just ordinary, like a working mom, an everyday civilian, married, whichever, and it was all these just ordinary daily things that women actually do nowadays, and that can be represented in Barbie. I did like that. I didn't like it coming from the mum. I know why it came from the mum, because the mum was ordinary, and that's literally just it. She is a plain Jane pretty much, but I actually think with Barbie's foray into the real world, she should have come back and done what she did and then go, but you know what, it is okay to do all of these things that Barbie does. Why can't Barbie also be ordinary? That's about all I liked. Oh, and I like Kate McKinnon. I actually think they underused Kate McKinnon a little bit, and Will Ferrell. I think they underused Will Ferrell quite a lot, actually. But now this film strives on feminism. It is feminism, 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 feminism. Now, I don't mind films having feminism in it. I really don't mind that at all. But it's sometimes, how much feminism should you really put into something? And this was way too much. It was rammed down your throats. I don't think I've ever seen women leave a theatre because it was too feminist and it was too undermining and it was just too overpowering with the feminism. So feminism is striving for women to be equal in everyday society. That's what feminism is. Equal rights to men, and I very much believe that. I'm all for feminism being in films, but the point of feminism is to be equal, is for women to have equal rights to men. So it starts off as expected. Barbies are the controllers of Barbie Land. Ken is the one that's essentially oppressed. So Ken would be the equivalent of women in society like well over 100 years ago in Barbie land. And it's all about, you know, Ken can't do this, Ken isn't good at that, Ken just is just, in general, he's just Ken, he's a bit rubbish, basically. Which isn't really true of men, you know, but that's what they're essentially saying in Barbie land. And Barbie is the strong one. Now, okay, it's Barbie land, I get it, you know, that's fine for the initial start of the plot. And then, of course, you know, the portal opens and they have to go to the human world. Barbie wants to go alone because she's a strong, independent woman. Great. But then Ken decides to tag along. And whilst he's there, he learns that it is a male-dominated society, even though women are now officially like more equal to men than what we ever have been, but they are a male-dominated society. Men are the best. That's what he learns in the human world. So he has to then go back to Barbie land and start brainwashing all of the Barbies so that Ken can oppress them all the Kens can oppress them all like women were oppressed over the centuries. That is old news. I mean, we don't really need to see that, do we? Well, apparently we do. Okay, so that's the route that they went down. The way that they try to bring it back is not the way that I probably would have gone. Let me read to you the definition of feminism. Feminism is an interdisciplinary approach to the issues of equality and equity based on gender, gender expression, gender identity, sex and sexuality as understood through the social theories and political activism. So this is kind of a bit more modern, but historically, feminism has evolved from the critical examination of inequality between the sexes to a more nuanced focus on the social and performative constructions of gender and sexuality. But basically, it was striving for equality to our counterparts, which is men. Once Ken is done brainwashing, indoctrinating, which is the same word, oppressing all the Barbies, he then takes over Barbie land with all of the other Kens and basically make it a Ken-dominated society. So like I said, that's old news. We are no longer, in today's world, as oppressed as what we were originally. But Barbie comes back and she's like, no, what's happened? Oh no, I've lost everything. I've lost all my power. I must take it back. This is where they really missed the trick, because what they had Barbie do was they basically had Barbie then with the ordinary working mum go around and bring all these Barbies back to their senses and have all of the Barbies then basically think Ken is like the most amazing thing, and then they just ditch him. And they go and they change the rule of, you know, what had been christened Ken land now back to Barbie land. It's like, wow, you know what, that is feminism that is just too much in your face, okay? Feminists do not control the world. They aim for equal opportunities. So really what that film missed the trick on was actually meeting the Kens halfway. How can we make this world, our land, more equal opportunities? How can we make Ken feel less oppressed in Barbie land? How can we do that? So they really just missed the trick of actually giving true meaning to the actual word feminism. That's really what I loathed about the film. There are a couple of other things which I will get to in a minute, but they really should have just said, no, we are showing feminism. We are trying to show a way that perhaps our modern day world can work and provide equal opportunities for both men and women, and of course, you know, everybody else in today's world. But they didn't do that. They just said, no, women are the strong ones, women are the better ones. women should oppress men. That's basically the message I was getting from it. And that's not what feminism is. Feminism is to meet men like halfway, so like be equal. We all be equal. We all work together. We are all the same. That's the idea of feminism, and they just sort of like took feminism, changed its meaning almost, and just rammed it down your throats. This is what we're giving you, this is what we're telling you. That's what I felt. But if you disagree, that's fine. You can leave a comment below, but just remember to subscribe and chat about it. Don't shout about it. There was one thing that happened when Barbie goes into the real world. She meets a teenager, and this teenager is one of the main characters in this film. And I didn't like the fact that this teenager was such a brat, although that is actually representative of a lot of things that happen in this world nowadays, that it just made Barbie cry. You know, why are people so sensitive to like Gen Z or like the teenagers? Why do we dance around them? Why do we cry about them? You know, and all of that. I was just like, Barbie, come on, girl. You're going to let a kid talk to you like that? You're going to let a kid cry? But I suppose, you know, she's a doll, so she didn't really expect that. And they didn't really give the kid any reason to be vicious other than the fact that she was just a grumpy teenager. I mean, I guess that's also accurate, but it would have been nice to have actually had a bit of backstory there. Now we're getting into another part that I probably hated just as much as the feminism. Now, kids were there at this screening, and Barbie and Ken enter the real world, and there are these workers there, and they make typical stereotypical sexist remarks about Barbie and about Ken, and it was kind of inappropriate. But I guess it's not really a kids movie as such, but there were kids there, and Barbie all of a sudden says something, and then she goes, and I don't have a vagina and he doesn't have a penis. And that was necessary because why was that necessary? That didn't need to be in there. Okay, yes, so the dolls don't have their genitalia on them. Why was that in there? It was unnecessary, but I can tell you why that was in there. It was because of the ending. You know, because they want to impose gender ideologies. There was a mention of a gender neutral bathroom. I thought, okay, fine, whatever, I'll take that as it comes. That was there. It was just almost like a throwaway line. The ending, of course, Barbie, huge spoiler here, goes to the real world. And here you think, after the mention of the ordinary Barbie, that Barbie, dressed all in her suit with her handbag and her flat shoes, representing what anyone would think the ordinary Barbie would represent, you think she's going to a job interview. Oh, no. She's not going to a job interview. Oh, no. No, she's going to visit her gynecologist. Why is she going to visit a gynecologist? Because she doesn't have her vagina. Hate to break it to you, Barbie, but gynecologists don't deal with people who don't have vaginas. So, you know, if you haven't got one, they ain't going to create one for you. She went to see her gynecologist. And that was the last line of the film. And what was horrible about that was there were kids there when that line was said. And as I was leaving, I heard a kid, she must have been about 7, say, "Mummy, what's a gynecologist?" And the mum's like, it's a doctor that looks after women. Why does Barbie want to see a gynecologist? I'll tell you when you're older. Has this been put in there because society wants children to start questioning their gender? Why is that in there? It didn't need to be in there. It would have just been better to have had Barbie go, I'm here for an interview. The kids wouldn't be questioning it. but you put in the gynecologist remark as a statement at the end, and it's got kids questioning what a gynecologist actually does and what it is. Now you've got awkward questions for parents to answer, maybe when they don't feel like they're actually quite ready to answer them, and I don't approve of that. It's bad enough seeing people on TikTok and other parts of the internet imposing gender ideologies onto young children, and I hear about the teachers in schools, and I'm a former teacher myself, and I don't approve of this, teaching gender ideologies to children, and now it's happening in films. I mean, is that what I'm getting from it? I have a very strong opinion about this, okay? It shouldn't be imposed on children, ever. And I reckon it was chucked in right at the end, because of that vagina and penis remark earlier in the film, purposely for the kids to question it. Everybody wants to believe that their kids should be not everybody, but people want their kids to be raised that gender neutral. Some believe that they're like 2 or 3 year old is a girl because they play with Barbie dolls. Well, just because your 2 or 3 year old plays with Barbie dolls doesn't mean to say that they're a girl. I mean, I played with trains when I was a kid, when I was like 2, 3. Thomas the Tank Engine all the way. Yeah, okay, I'm a bit of a tomboy. I was a bit of a tomboy. Okay, I preferred trains over dolls, but I had Cindy. And I had cycling Cindy because she was cool and she could cycle and her legs could go like that. But children are just children. Let them be children. Don't impose gender ideologies on them. Don't make them do anything that they don't want to do. And to be honest, if a child is questioning something like that, they can't comprehend gender ideologies at all. So why bother? It'll be something that they can deal with when they're an adult, or they can ask you about when they're older. But just, films should not make kids question gender. Teachers should not teach children gender. This should all be left to the parents. Leave it with the parents. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. They're there to raise their kids. Anyway, so basically, I didn't like the film. So this is from Forbes. Barbie, largely praised for feminist themes, but draws angers from the anti-woke. Well, I am quite anti-woke, but the highly anticipated Barbie debuted to strong reviews. It has 90% from critics' score on Rotten Tomatoes, or tomatoes as we would say here, with many reviewers singling out the feminist themes as the highlight, but the right-wing media have called up Barbie's feminist angle as woke and criticise what they say is a man-hating portrayal of Ryan Gosling's Ken. They do actually make out Ryan Gosling's character to be the bad guy, which, I don't know. Is it man-hating? In some respects, yes, but I'm not as like, that is man-hating. It is, basically, and I don't hate men. So, key facts: far-right media figure Jack Posobiec, I don't know how to say that, sorry, called Barbie a man-hating woke propaganda fest, criticising the film for portraying the Kens as less intelligent, which they do, than the Barbies, and for its themes about rising up against the patriarchy. Ah, yeah, that is quite strong in there as well. I forgot about that. He also tweeted a clip of Gosling's I'm Just Ken song from the film, in which the character laments his blown fragility, which he calling it possibly the most anti-male film ever made. Conservative commentator Ben Shapiro struck a predictably similar tone, tweeting, "All you need to know about Barbie the movie is that it is unironically uses the word patriarchy more than 10 times. Really, was it 10 times? They did use it a lot. Urging his followers to leave the negative reviews for Barbie if polled by CinemaScore, a market research firm that asks audience members an opening night to give a film a letter grade between A and F. Blaze TV host Lauren Chen accused studios of hiding how insufferably woke Barbie is in a promotional materials, also pointing to the film's anti-patriarchal themes. I'm not very good at saying that word, sorry. In Fox News, well, this is Fox News, but let's see if I agree with them. In Fox News segment, conservative author Peachy Kennan called the film an insidious packaging of feminist cliché and trans grooming. Yeah, criticising the casting of transgender actress Harry Neff as one of the Barbies. Okay, now I actually didn't know that, alright? Now, trans women are supposed to just blend into society. If a trans woman is playing a Barbie, I ain't got a problem with that, okay? It doesn't matter. It's fine. What I did disapprove of was the genital comments and the ending, okay? That's what I disapproved of. Ginger Gates, is it Gates? I don't know. Wife of Rep Matt Gates, yeah, okay. Republican, I think, Matt Gates, oops, called it for a boycott of the film despite attending a premiere event, all decked out in pink, criticising the movie for neglecting to address any notion of faith or family. Yeah, actually, this film, just to reiterate on that, this film is very inclusive. Overall, they have lots of different races, okay, but I would have liked to have seen some more family notions. You do have the mother and the daughter, but really nothing is explained between them. Faith, I'm not so sure about imposing religion on people. I don't know, faith, it can be a tricky subject, but then there's no reason why you couldn't have it in there, I guess. And trying to and this is going on with what she's saying, trying to normalize the idea that men and women can't collaborate positively, and for portraying Ken as not masculine. Yes, they do. I do agree with that. They do portray Ken as weak. That's the writing. That's not Ryan Gosling. That's the writing. Yeah, she's actually right. Wow, I agree with someone from the Republican Party, but this is true, you know. The whole point of feminism, like I've said, is to strive for equality and having equal rights. That is the whole point. Senator Ted Cruz called the film Chinese communist propaganda for depicting South China Sea as Chinese territory on a map, a disputed claim that led to the film being banned in Vietnam and instantly identifiable by everyone in the audience. Okay, I actually didn't know anything about that, so to me that's just gone straight over my head. Forbes has reached out to Warner Bros. For comment. Of course they have. It's directed by Greta Gerwig and starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling as Barbie and Ken, and it was released in July after months of internet excitement and extensive marketing campaign. Many of the film's positive reviews point to the feminist angle as a highlight. It's not a highlight for me, trust me. CNN's review praised Barbie over feminist message and desire to put Barbie in a broader sociological context. IndieWire wrote the film is able to contain a genuine message of feminism while maintaining a sense of joy throughout. I actually thought it was quite dark, actually. I didn't find it overly joyful. I thought there was a lot of darkness about it. Even when tackling these heavy topics, Entertainment Weekly praised the film as a fierce, funny, and deeply feminist adventure that dares you to laugh and cry. Well, I certainly didn't laugh. I didn't find it funny, and I didn't cry. Which can pair insightful criticisms of the wage gap with goofy gags about Ken threatening to beat each other off. Can someone confirm what that has actually got to do with wage gaps? Contra, some on social media mocked conservatives who criticised Barbie for being, take a wild guess, woke. Woke didn't even come to my mind, but whatever. One user tweeted, did they want Barbie to promote being a stay-at-home wife and homeschooling children or whatever? Barbie's whole thing is that she could do any job men can do. She has never been anti-woke. That's true. That's true. She's always had jobs. She's always been whatever she's wanted to be. I agree with that. With more than 100,000 people liking that tweet, podcast host and MSNBC, I'm not very good at reading cold, analyst Brittany Cunningham tweeted she didn't have any plans to see Barbie in theatres, but after she saw the anti-woke backlash, she said, nah, let me head to the theatre. Comedian and writer Mike Drucker ridiculed the conservative backlash, tweeting, how am I supposed to go about my day knowing my favourite doll isn't in the Freedom Caucus? Oh gosh, referencing the right-wing House of Representatives caucus. Okay, I think I said that right. I'm butchering it. The tangent. Whether or not Barbie dolls are feminist has been a long subject of controversy. A frequent criticism of the doll is that they promote unrealistic body images. I agree with that. For young girls, with many Barbie products depicting women as tall and thin, except in places where it benefits them to be otherwise. Mattel introduced Barbie dolls with a range of body types in 2016 in an attempt to make their products more diverse, which shows that they are actually quite happy to try and strive for change. Though the BBC reported the curvy Barbie was still slimmer than the average woman. Oh, you can never make people happy. Although she did balloon to a size 6. Barbie dolls, however, have also been praised for their financially accessible price, catering around the women instead of men. Ken is an afterthought, a joke, Time reported, and for the effortless possibilities in which girls can play with Barbie dolls by using their imaginations. Big number, 22.3 million. That's how much Barbie grossed at the domestic box office from Thursday previews. I don't know how good that is. I don't know how much they spent on the film, and I don't care. The second biggest total for Thursday previews, behind the Super Mario Brothers movie, which I know was a huge hit, which made 26.5 million in April. Barbie more than double Oppenheimer's 10.5 million Thursday previews in total. The long and the short of it is, I didn't like this film. It was too much in your face with the feminism. They could have pulled it back a bit and actually have the Barbies strive to be equal with the Kens and actually drive home the force of equality. That's what they should have done, but no, they rammed it down your face. And I totally disapproved of the ramming in your face of the gender ideologies. With the trans actress, I'm totally fine with that. That's absolutely fine. That's it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I need your subscriptions. Please start subscribing to the channel. I will love to make more content like this. Let me know what you would like to see in the future that we can chat about and not shout about it. Don't forget to subscribe. I'd like to get to 100 subscribers as soon as I can. Only you can make that happen for me. So come on. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Let's do it. I've been Rachel Link. Remember, chat about it. Don't shout about it. And I'll see you next one. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Mwah!